and welcome to another reading vlog. This is the start of a new one. It is Sunday, and it's, I don't know, around 2:30 or something like that in the afternoon. I have done the church thing, and we went out and ate and come home, and now it's time to tell you about what I'm working on and what I hope to finish this week. So, working on Hidden Rapture by Romelia Lane. I still don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right. This one is just okay. I have a feeling I'm not going to enjoy this one quite as much as I have some of the other ones, but it's more, it has to do with the story than, you know, anything. I don't know. It's about a lady who, she is taking the place of a friend because her friend wrote letters to this guy, Robert, who has a muscular disease. And I guess she maybe thought she would never actually meet him or something. Or maybe she'd have more time to explain that the picture she sent wasn't her. But anyway, she sent this lady's picture, and so Robert's expecting her. And he's getting worse, and he could be dying, and so he wants to meet her. And so she begs Vivian to go in her place, and where she meets Trent, which is the older brother, and they do not hit it off very well at all. He pretty much thinks that she's just kind of a money hungry or whatever, and wants to, you know, why does somebody like, I guess maybe as pretty as her, wants to have anything to do with a young man in a wheelchair that's, you know, or whatever. And so he thinks, especially since they live in Morocco and they have a lot of money, and so I think he's thinking, you know, she's not really what she seems, which she isn't. And the thing is she has been to Morocco before, and she had there's an old flame there, and she doesn't care about anything but finding this old flame, even though it's been like 4 years. And so I don't know, it feels really weird because all she can think about is this Gary guy when she's supposed to be with Robert, but then somehow she ends up falling for the brother, and I don't know, it's like a weird triangle-y quadrangle or whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know yet. But I'm not quite halfway through it yet. I am 72 pages, and it's 186 pages. It's just not hitting the spot. This one, on the other hand, I'm doing really well with. Morning Glory by Lavelle Spencer. I am almost finished. And so I think I'm like 77% into it or something like that. I'm on chapter 19. I am on 300 out of 437. So yeah, I'm doing pretty good. So I do know that I will be finishing this one this week. Really like this one. It's a lot different than Years and not as funny, but at the same time, it's still pretty interesting. And I really like Ellie and Will and their romance. It did have a little bit of a sad part whenever he had to go to war, because it is taking place during when America goes to war during World War II. And so, yeah. It hasn't ripped my heart out yet, but there's still plenty of time, and so that worries me. But we'll see how it goes. Well, maybe if I can hold on to it. And I am still working on Exile, but I think I made my quota for last week, or pretty close. I said I needed to get pretty close to the end. I think maybe I might have missed it by a tiny bit, but I don't remember. I was trying to remember how much I said I needed at the beginning of the last vlog. But yeah, I think I can get through this week and everything. That is the goal. It's crunch time. I've got to wrap it up. I've got to finish books that I have going, because I can't have anything lagging over for March Mystery Madness, because I have a whole bunch of books for that. So I have to get everything wrapped up. But I'm really, really liking reading my romances, and so I'm trying to figure out how I can put some romances into my March Mystery Madness. But we'll see. Anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much what I have going at the moment. Oh, wait, no, there's another one. I am listening to Charliethorne and the Last Equation by Stuart Gibbs. So another Stuart Gibbs series that I am working on. This one only has 3 books out. Well, technically it has 2 books out, and then one is coming out because I have it right here. The 3rd book comes out June, and so they wanted to send this to me, so I said, sure, go ahead. I can get the other books at the library, and so that's what I've done. So I am currently trying to catch up so that I will be ready to read this one, and so I can get this one done before June. So that's my goal anyway, to try to keep up with some of my review books. And so yeah, so I will pop back on here at some point whenever I have finished something or something really cool happens that I want to talk about. Hello everybody, it's Monday night and I'm going to pop on here so that I could tell you that I finished Morning Glory by Lavelle Spencer, and I can say this one did not hurt me as much as Years, so that's good. I liked it. I really liked it. I didn't like it as much as Years, but it was still a really good story and definitely had a slow burn romance, and I can see why Melissa from Library of Labradors really enjoyed this book. It had a really good story, and I really liked how it ended. And yeah, it was just really good. It's about Ellie, who she had a rough start to life, and she come from a family who didn't want to really acknowledge she existed. They had to actually come and get her whenever it was time for her to go to school, because her grandparents didn't want nobody to know about her, and so everybody's always called her like Crazy Ellie Dinsmore, but she's really smart. She just didn't have a really good start with life, and she ended up marrying the only guy that like really actually treated her very nice, and he was older than her, and he has passed on, and she is left with 2 kids and 1 on the way, and she needs help on the farm. And it's during is it 1940? Yeah, 1941. And so yeah, and so she puts an ad in the paper that she's looking for a husband, and really basically she doesn't really care who he is or anything. He just needs to be healthy so that he can help her work the farm and everything and raise her kids. Pretty much that's all she really wants. She's not real picky. And Will, he is a guy who just a bit unlucky, and he served some time in jail because of something that happened. He was actually trying to protect a friend, and that friend turned on him, and he ended up going to jail. And so he served I think 5 years or something like that. So he's out of jail, but you know, as it is with a lot of people that have been in jail, they have a hard time of it, and so he's pretty much starving. But he had gotten a job at a sawmill, and he was, you know, trying to make some money. And they found out, you know, they didn't really want him there because they found out that he was had been in jail and everything, and so they pretty much just paid him what they owed him and told him he needed to move along. And he's pretty much starving, and he's real skinny, and he goes to the cafe where he finds out about this ad, and so he goes to Ellie, and he's like, you know, I'm here about the ad, and let's, you know, see if this will work. So he tells her that he had been in jail and everything, and she thinks that, you know, he looks pretty nice, but he's kind of, you know, really scrawny down on his luck. She invites him in, she feeds him. She tells him that he can sleep out in the barn, and, you know, they will kind of just see if they kind of hit it off or anything, you know, if everything goes okay or whatever. And yeah, and it just kind of starts from there, and then it goes through where America enters the war in World War II, and he ends up getting drafted, and he has to go to war. And then that part, some things happen that was a little sad, but not like the rip your heart out part like that was in Years. It was a little sad, And then the ending, I really liked the ending. It was just kind of, how townsfolk uh, change their mind about somebody who went to war and everything and stuff, and about this other guy who was a coward, and I kind of got his comeuppance, I guess. And so, but yeah, it was really sweet. The ending was like really sweet, and I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. Like I said, I didn't really like it as much as yours. It didn't have that I don't know, that fun, like, kind of make me chuckle a lot with the banter between the two main characters as yours did. But at the same point, it was just a really sweet story, and so yeah, like 4 stars. So I'm still working on this one. Um, I think I'm about halfway or a little over halfway. I don't know, somewhere around there, and it's okay, but it's not quite as fast moving as I would like for even a little one. I haven't really spent a lot of time reading it, and it takes me a little while because it's torn here. I had to put tape on it because it is old, and so I have to kind of read it like this, and so I have to get the light just right and stuff like that. So it takes me a little bit longer to read it, and so I only read a few pages on it every now and then. But I have a feeling I'm not going to quite like this one as much as I have liked the other ones, but, that's okay. It happens. But I do think I'm going to put this one on the docket, Never Say Die by Tess Gerritsen. This is a Harlequin intrigue, and it's number 181. It's from 1992. And I'm really curious about this one because this author is now really, like, known for her Rosalian Isle series, and so it's kind of cool that she came from Harlequin. And I have the audiobook for this from Hoopla, so I'll go ahead and listen to this one. And so yeah, and I'm still working on Exile, but I just didn't bring the book over here. I think I'm like 72% into it, so I'm getting closer. And so yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at the moment. I am like really tired because I stacked a lot of wood today, and now I am ready to just relax and do a little reading, and I will pop back on here whenever I can. Hello everybody, it's Wednesday, I believe. It's the 23rd, and it's about 6:30 in the evening, and I thought I would pop on here because I finished Never Say Die by Tess Gerritsen, and this is a Harlequin intrigue. It's from 1992. It's number 181, and I enjoyed it. It was good. This is the first time I've read this author, and I know this is some of her like real early works, and I'm really curious to give the Rosalian Isles series a try. It is actually, I believe, on my SAS list of series that I want to try. And yeah, it's set in Vietnam. It's about a lady, Willie, I believe her name is, Willie Maitland. Her father used to fly for Air Vietnam and during the war, and he was kind of not, he didn't ask questions on what he was flying, so he ends up flying some things that aren't so kosher, and gets in a little bit of trouble. And anyway, his plane goes down, and he's been missing and assumed dead. And this was, I think it was in 1970, on the Laos North Vietnam border, whenever that happened. And so and then it's like present day, and her mother's dying, and one of her dying wishes is to I'm going to sneeze, is that she wants to know if her husband is really dead. So Willie decides to go back over there and to try to figure things out and see what's going on. But she keeps getting the runaround, and she's getting aggravated, and she meets this guy. He's ex-army, and he's kind of got tricked into being in the right place at the right time, because some people wanted him to run into Willie. And so then they keep running into each other, and then somebody is trying to kill Willie, and they don't know why, and what's it got to do with her father. And so does that mean that her father might still be alive and that there are people after him and all that kind of stuff? And so they are together trying to figure it out and everything. So it's got a lot of intrigue, a lot of mystery, and a little bit of romance, which is basically what the intrigue usually are. There's a lot of, I don't know if I want to trust you, but I kind of like you kind of things going back and forth. She doesn't trust men because of her father and things like that. And so, yeah, it was really good. I enjoyed it. I'd say I'd probably give it 4 stars. I liked it. This is only my second older intrigue that I have read. I didn't read one for this retro, but I read one last year, and it was enjoyable. I like this one a lot better than that one. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's kind of falling apart. I feel bad. But anyway, it was good. And I also finished, I didn't talk about this one, I don't think, yet. I kind of forgot it, but I needed to read my horror pick that I picked out of my TBR jar of horror. And I need to write the review on it for tomorrow. And so I had to hurry up and listen to it. But good thing it was only like a 5-hour audiobook. But it was the Beast of Devil's Rock by Michael Cole. And it was okay. It was your basic kind of run-of-the-mill creature horror book. It was the police were out investigating. There's a car and there's nobody in it, and they are wondering what happened to the person. And then they see some stuff that looks like something might be out there, and some cops. One of the cops sees this giant spider, and when he's trying to explain it to everybody else, they think he's funny and off his rocker and everything, until they end up running into this giant spider, and then things weren't so funny anymore because a lot of them didn't survive. And so, yeah, it's just about a creature that has awakened, and he's really thirsty and hungry, and so he's killing just about anything in sight. And he has a hard exoskeleton, so it's not like he's very easy to kill. So yeah, they had a hard time. I kind of thought it was kind of interesting how they killed it at the end. That was kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just kind of your basic run-of-the-mill like creature book. So yeah, it was okay. I'd say 3 stars. You know, it wasn't bad. It wasn't like great, but it wasn't bad. And so yeah, so I am still reading on this one. It's just not really getting my attention. I'm at least over halfway now. Page 110 out of, I think it's 186. Yeah, 186 pages. But I will keep at it, and I don't like the main character, the woman, very much, and so it's making the story not very likable. I have the audiobook for this one, and so even though it's like a chunker, I'm going to try to fit this one in, because it keeps staring at me like, read me. So, but I do have the audiobook, so I'm going to read this one, to Love a Dark Lord by Anne Stewart, because I'm just really curious about it. And so we'll see how it goes. It's from 1994. So I'm going to add that to my pile, because I think I have time to fit one more in. I'm wanting to fit one more retro romance in. I am also still working on Exile, but getting close to the end. So I think I'll be able to get this one done. So, you know, and I'm liking it, but at the same time, I really think they're just really too long. And I've looked at the page count for the rest of the series, and there's like 10 books in the series, and they're all like gigantically huge, and I just don't really see necessary to have them so big. they could cut a little bit out, and I think it would be fine. But it's still a good read. And so, yeah, that's pretty much it. It's been cold all day, so I haven't really done anything but tried to stay under covers and listen to 2 audiobooks today, so I got something done. And I will be back whenever I have something interesting to talk about. Hello everybody, it's a Friday night, a little after 10 o'clock at night, and I thought I would pop on because I finished Exile by Shannon Messenger. Woo! The big old chunker too, and finished it just in time. I had a feeling I could probably get it in before the month was over, but I mean, I had a lot of things I was reading. But yeah, it was pretty good. I liked it. This is number 2. I don't think I liked it as much as the first one. You know, it's like the newness has worn off now. I mean, the first one was like really a lot of fun, but now that I know, you know, things that are going on, this one was, you know, was okay. I do think they're a little long, and they only get longer. I don't know why they need to be so long. But there's like 10 books, I think, in the series. I'm not sure, but I think it's going to be finished at 10. That one hasn't come out yet, but I think I've seen some things where some people were saying that it was going to be the last one. But, like, some of them are, like, 800 pages long, and I just don't. For middle grade, that's, like, too big. So I'm hoping I don't wear out on the series, because I would like to finish the series. So I'm hoping that it keeps me entertained enough that I will enjoy it. Keeper of the Lost City is about Sophie, who is an extraordinary elf. She's not like any other elves. And in the first book, she finds out, and it's not really a spoiler because it happens like in the first like couple chapters, that she's an elf. And she was living in a human world, and then they take her and bring her to the elven world and everything, where she learns that she's like, you know, a telepath, and she is just the stronger telepath than any of the others. So she's kind of perfect in those, in that kind of a sense, but she's still not really perfect at everything, and it's not really her fault. You find out why she is as good as she is at certain things and stuff like that. And in this one, it's just kind of more of her learning about what she can do, and something kind of happens to her brain, and she has to figure out some things, and some things happen to some characters that I didn't like, and I was like, you know, hoping that things would get resolved and everything. But yeah, it just long. This is 568 pages, and like the next one I think is like 600 pages or something like that. I mean, they just get bigger and bigger. I think that's probably my only problem with this now is they just seem overly long. But I still liked it, and I was interested in what was going on and what was going to happen and everything. 4 stars. I think I gave the first book 5 stars because I really, really did like it. But like I said, it kind of fell down a little bit. It was still good, but it just wasn't great. And I am still working on this one, and I should have this one done by tomorrow. I only have like this much to go. I'm not really liking it very well. There's parts of it I like, and then there's parts of it I don't. And one of the big things is the main character and her choices, and I don't know, doesn't feel like much of a romance, and I think I will have this will probably be the first of my retro romances that I may rant a little bit about. But I'm determined to finish it. And then I am also working on this one. It's To Love a Dark Lord by Anne Stewart, and I'm this far into it, so I've still got quite a bit to go. But I'm listening to it on audiobook, so I think I can finish it. This will probably be the last book for my retro romance readathon. I wanted to try to get one more in, and then I think that'll be It'll be 9 books, which is more books than I thought I would get accomplished in February. Especially since it was a little bit shorter of a month. And so I told myself if I got like 7 books finished, I would feel accomplished. So now I feel like overly accomplished because I'll be getting 9 books done. And so that's really cool. And I'm liking this one so far. It's not like great, but I'm liking it enough. And so I did get a book in the mail today, so I thought I would show it off. I got a graphic novel to review. It's called The Nightmare Brigade, Volume 1, The Girl from Deja Vu. And it's by, I cannot read the writing, Frank Thrilsey and Yungu Dumont. I don't know. I don't know. You probably can't see it, but yeah. Can't pronounce. But anyway, yeah, I'm kind of excited to get this one. I think the graphics are kind of cool. Everything. It's dark. I like kind of the dark kind of graphics and everything. But yeah, it's a middle grade graphic novel, and I got it from Smith Publicity, and I think it's a paper cut. Yeah, it's a paper cut graphic novel. Paper cut. And I hope that doesn't mean it's gonna give me a paper cut. But yeah, they contacted me and asked me if I wanted to review it, and I thought it looked kind of cool. And I don't get very many graphic novels to review, so I'll give it a try. So yeah, man, the month is almost over. I can't believe that it's almost over. It's crazy. But yeah, I have 2 more books to finish for the month, and then I'm done. Well, actually, I do have another one, Charliethorne and the Last Equation. It's a middle grade that I've been listening to. It's kind of been put on the back burner as I was trying to finish these main ones up. But I'll probably be able to get it finished too, I think, because I still got a couple days left, so yeah, I should be able to get it finished too. But if I don't, I'll just roll it over and listen to it. But I think it only has like 3 hours left, so I can do it. But yeah, so I can't believe the month is already almost over, and my retro readathon is about to come to an end. But that's okay, because then we got March Mystery Madness coming up. It's just one thing after another. I can't wait for March Mystery Madness. Okay. So I will pop back on here when I've finished something else. So hopefully that will be tomorrow, and I will have this one finished so that I can rant a little bit. We'll see. Hello everybody, it's Saturday, and it's about 8:30, somewhere around there, and I thought I would come on here because I've finished some books and I need to talk about them so that I can wrap up this reading vlog. So, first one I'm going to talk about is Hidden Rapture by Romolia Lane. I'm not quite sure if I pronounced her name right. But this one is from 1979. It's a Harlequin romance, number 2229, and I must say that I didn't enjoy this one very much. It's probably my least favorite one out of all the ones that I have read. And it's not even the oldest one that I've read, so yeah. I thought I was gonna like this one because the premise sounded really cool, because this girl Lucy has been writing to this one guy in Tangier. His name's Robert. And they're kind of wealthy, and he's like really good looking, and he has like a muscular problem, and so she'd been writing to him, and they kind of fell in love over these letters. And then his brother writes to her and says he's getting worse and he wants to see you. Well, now Lucy's in a panic because she thought she would have more time before having to like confess that the picture she sent wasn't her, it was her friend. and that she was using her friend's name. And so she asked her friend Vivian if she would please go in her place to Tangier and to see Robert and to, be with him and everything, since he was dying and everything. And yeah, I thought that premise was kind of cool because she goes there and she's supposed to be, uh, supposed to be in love with Robert, but at that she was going to end up falling for Trent, which is the older brother. And that, it sounded kind of interesting. But when we get her over there, the main character has been to Tangier before, and she remembers her time there, and a part of her doesn't like being reminded of her time there. And then this other part of her remembers having a lot of fun there because she had met like her first love in Tangier, and his name was Gary. And we have her going off and trying to find Gary. And I'm like, no, wait, what? Uh, First she's supposed to be over there for Robert. And I know because of the back of the book, she's supposed to fall for the brother. Why on earth is this Gary character in here? And it was really annoying because he's wealthy, and it's got her finding her ex or whatever, and all this time that she's thinking about Gary, and everything. And you know that it's not going to end right. And I felt like the main character was just so stupid and blind and dumb because why would she think if he like got rid of her 4 years ago, why is it all of a sudden he is going to be excited to see her? And he's not really excited to see her at first. But then he's like, maybe we should like have drinks and, catch up. Well, then she stupidly tells him that the reason she's in Tangier is because of this, thing with Robert, and that she's just pretending to be in love with him because of her friend Lucy and all that stuff. Okay, well, I mean, if you're a guy barely making it in Tangier, and you know that he's like the wealthiest man there, what are you gonna do? Yeah, you're gonna want to get close to her, and now you know her secret. So he's kind of got her right where he wants her. He didn't love her, he didn't care for her, he just wants to make money off of her. And it's like, come on, surely you could see, like, he wanted nothing to do with you at first, and now he's like all over you. And it's like, and since it's supposed to be a romance and she's supposed to be falling for this guy, I'm thinking, when is that going to happen? When is she going to decide that she likes him? Because all they do is fight for almost all. It seems like most of these early Harlequins are like hate to love and age gap romances, because she's 23 and he's in his 30s. And it was annoying because it's like, when is this going to happen? When is this romance supposed to happen? There's no like, I looked at him across the way and my heart like, fluttered or anything until there was 35 pages left of the book. And then all of a sudden, because of what happened, some things happened with Gary and everything, like I knew there would. And now all of a sudden she realizes that, she didn't love Gary, she loves Trent. And it's like, really? No. It was so not believable. And oh, yeah. So I'm giving this like 2 stars, which is kind of a bummer because I was really liking most of the books, fairly well, and everything. And so to come out with a dud at the end was kind of a bummer for the month, but it is what it is. Then I finished To Love a Dark Lord by Anne Stewart. And it was a pretty chunky one, but I had an audiobook for it, so I thought I could get through it and get another one done. And I don't know, I have some mixed feelings about this one. It's from 1994, and I don't know. It's about Killian, and it's kind of a feels like a Beauty and the Beast type thing. Killian doesn't think a whole lot of himself. Something happened in Ireland, where he's from, that makes him feel like he's a horrible person. And then another thing happens to a woman that he knew, and because he didn't help her, she ends up like committing suicide, and he kind of blames himself. But he knows who the real culprit is, which is this one guy that he wants revenge on and stuff. But he really thinks of himself as a heartless person, and that he doesn't love anybody, doesn't deserve any love, he doesn't like anything. And then here comes this lady, which I've already forgot her name, Emma, who she ends up killing her uncle at the beginning because he was like trying to rape her, and so she killed him, and he happens to witness everything, and he tells everybody that he's the one that done it. Since he's already a blackguard anyway, nobody, one more body isn't going to really matter. And so he helps her with that, but he says he's just doing it just to add to his reputation. It has nothing to do with her. Then he sends her to a place where she can get some employment, and she becomes like a governess. But the place that she's at, there's some older men there, like, well, young men, but old enough they're not her students or anything. And she ends up getting into some trouble there, and she conks the guy on the head, and she thinks she's killed another guy, but she hadn't. But he ends up rescuing her again, and she is kind of falling for him, even though she doesn't really know him that much, because he's rescued her and stuff, I guess, and everything. But he doesn't want anything to do with her, and he keeps pushing her away. And he does some really mean things. And so I don't know. Part of me really didn't like Kaloran. I usually like the dark and broody guys, but at the same time, he really, really got on my nerves. And so I'm kind of mixed at what I want to I don't know. I really liked it, but at the same time, I really wanted to smack him upside the head. So therefore, I don't know if it's like a 3.5 or a 4-star. I'm just not really sure exactly at the moment what I want to label it, because I really did enjoy it, and I really liked the ending and how it ended. And knowing, when like, towards the end, you find out like why he is like he is and stuff. It helps you a little bit to understand him and to feel a little bit bad for him, but at the same time, he was a jerk. And so I don't know, but it was okay. So one more down. So that's a total of 9 retro romances that I have read. And so I'm really feeling, really good with my readathon. That's like super good. Okay, so the next book that I finished is Charliethorne and the Last Equation by Stuart Gibbs. It's the first book in the Charliethorne series. I am a little bit mixed on it too. I probably give it 3 stars. I liked it well enough, but I just don't like the trope of kid geniuses being thieves. It's just not my thing. And I know I should like suspend my disbelief in type things when it comes to that, but I just don't like that trope in middle grade. But I liked Charlie. She's really spunky and everything. And in this one, basically, she is a thief, and the CIA are looking for her, but it's not because of her being a thief. It's because of her being this super genius, and they need her to find Albert Einstein's Pandora equation, because if it gets into the wrong hand, it could be very disastrous, and there are people looking for it. There is this group called the Furies, and they're after it, and they think that she can probably figure out where it's hidden and use the clues and everything to find it out. And so they're okay with using her for this, even though she should be in some kind of detention center because she's a thief. But they're okay with using her because they want to get this, and everything. So, I mean, it was okay. There was a lot of, like, action and everything like that. Getting away from the bad guys and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, it's just not my favorite kind of trope. But I will keep going with the series, and, maybe Charlie will grow on me a little bit. I am kind of curious to see how it goes. And I do have the third book to review, so hopefully I will like it better by the time I get to the third one. And so that's everything that I finished off today. And so I'll do a little recap of everything that I've finished previously in this week so that you'll know everything that I read. So I have Never Say Die by Tess Gerritsen, which I give 4 stars. Morning Glory by Lavelle Spencer, which I give 4 stars too. Then Hidden Rapture, and then To Love a Dark Lord, and then I have the Charliethorne and the Last Equation, and I almost forgot, but I listened to another book, and it was The Beast at Devil's Rock by Michael Cole. So I read quite a bit this week. I did really... Oh! And I almost forgot the big one. Don't want to forget the big one. And I finished Exile, which I've been working on this one all month because it's a chunker. And I gave that one 4 stars. So, yeah. Quite a bit, actually, that I finished this week, plus the audiobook and stuff. So, yeah. Had a pretty full week, but to be honest, 2 of those I was already almost finished. Well, actually, no, 3 of those I was actually almost finished with, so it kind of helped get, I just kind of finished them all up this week, which was what I'm trying to do, because I'm trying to fit one more retro romance in, so I have Nora Roberts' Hidden Star, but I've just barely gotten into it, so I don't know, because I have tomorrow and the next day, so I don't know. But if I finish it, you'll find out whenever I do my Retro Romance Readathon wrap-up, because I will let you know whether I finished it or didn't finish it, because you won't be seeing it in a reading vlog. But you will see it there if I finished it. And so that is everything, I think, that I have. And so I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.